Hi, I'm Megan.
I'm Alexa. We're in your 8th period, and this is our Tuesdays with Maury discussion vlog.
Yes.
Okay, so the first question. Should I read
Yeah.
Okay. Can we, pause?
No.
Or is that not a thing?
No.
All right. Who do you think got more out of their Tuesday meetings, Mitch or Maury? In what ways? How do you think each would answer this question? You got this.
All right. I think Mitch got more than Maury because it was kind of talking about Maury's life overall and how it could help Mitch's and how Mitch should grow as a person. It was kind of like Maury leaving his life experiences with Mitch to carry on in Mitch's life.
I definitely agree with that. Since Maury went through such a hard childhood, I think he learned from that, and that's what he's passing on to Mitch. So I definitely think that Mitch learned more. However, if each of them were to answer this question separately, I think that they would say that the opposite got more out of it, just because that's the kind of people that they are. And yeah.
I agree. I completely agree.
Okay, number 2. Discuss Maury's criticisms of Mitch throughout the book. Do you think Maury should have been tougher on him or easier?
Some criticisms he had were that Mitch was too tough of a person and he needed to be more compassionate, I suppose, and more open with his feelings. And I don't think he was super hard on him to begin with. And so I guess he could have been harder, but I don't really think he should have been easier. Otherwise, maybe he wouldn't have really got it and changed his life as he did.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I don't think he should have been tougher because I don't think it's necessary bad criticisms that he's having. He's just trying to make him better as a person overall, since I don't think he sees some of the things that he does, especially with his job. Yeah. All right, number 3. Do you think Mitch would have listened if Maury hadn't been dying? Does impending death automatically make one's voice able to penetrate where it couldn't before?
Well, I think Mitch still would have listened to Maury, but even if he wasn't dying, because Maury was such an influential professor to him, and he talks about how much he loved him throughout college. And I think that his death was the reason they kind of reconnected, obviously, but I still think he would have always listened. And maybe if someone's dying, you do take their words a bit more seriously as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I do think that him dying and seeing him on the news station did make him go see him more and think of him in his mind, because he totally forgot about him, even though he was such an influential person in his life. So I think he would have taken his advice anyway, but since he was dying, I think it hit harder.
I agree.
I agree. All right, 4. Does this book make Maury's death a public event? If so, how is it similar to other public events we've experienced as a society? How is it different?
I don't think so. I don't think it's a public event.
Yeah, I don't really think it's a public event, because I think really what he's trying to do is let people know that I don't think it's just public, that dying is just a thing, and that his disease that he got could have happened to anybody. So I don't think it's a public event. I just think he wants to shed light on his life experiences and stuff like that. So
I agree.
Just gonna move on to question 5 then. Maury referred to himself as a bridge, a person who is in between life and death, which makes him useful to others as a tool to understand both. Talk about other literary, historical, political, or religious figures who have also served this purpose. Do you want me to take this one?
You can take that.
Okay. Well, first of all, his disease is known as Lou Gehrig's disease, and he was a very big baseball player back in the time. So I think that is who this would most relate to, because it's kind of the only person we can think that's been in that type of a situation where they know that they're dying and in between life and death. So I don't think that happens very much, and I think when it does happen, it really changes the people around you and how they live their lives, and how they. Where am I going?
I think you summed it up.
Okay. Number 6. Maury told Mitch about the tension of opposites. Talk about this as a metaphor for the book and for society.
Well, I mean, the tension of opposites. I guess Mitch kind of could look at himself as an opposite of people around him. Sometimes he sees himself as different than Maury, because Maury's just so open and, like,
Compassionate.
yeah, like, touchy-feely, and, like, I guess Mitch is not that way, and sometimes Mitch, I feel, looks at things a little negatively and that he's too different than other people. So I think
He's
that
a really
could be,
closed-off person.
yeah.
Unlike Maury, even though he's been through so many hard times in his life. Yeah. Okay, number 7. Mitch made a list of topics about which he wanted Maury's insight and clarity. In what ways would your list be the same or different?
I mean, in the list, like, I think a lot of them would be the same. They talked about death a lot and, like, how Maury felt about, like, his situation and, like, how he remained positive through it. And I think I'd want to talk about that a lot and, like, Maury's childhood and, like, just, like, a lot of stuff that he went through and how Mitch himself could learn from it. So I think I would ask a lot of the same stuff to better myself through their own life experiences.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's pretty much just to make yourself better as a person and to, like, learn from what Maury has is and went through during the book. So, number 8. Maury said, if you found meaning in your life, you don't want to go back. You want to go forward. Is this true in your experience?
I mean, I kind of agree and I kind of disagree. I mean, of course, you'd always want to go forward, but sometimes if, like, you just had really important, fulfilling times in your past, you just want to go back and, like, relive it all over. But I mean, I don't think you'd be afraid of the future, but you wouldn't be, like, against the past, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, like, I think people think that when they find the meaning in life, that, like, your life is kind of done after that. Like, what else can they, like, fulfill and stuff? But I think you do have to go forward and, like, take the past experiences that you will always have, and, like, you can't just completely block them out, and you can go back to them, and because they made you to be the person that you are. So it's a little bit of both. And number 9. Was Maury judging people who choose not to have kids with his statement, if you want the experience of having complete responsibility for another human being and to learn how to love and bond in the deepest way, then you should have children? Whether or not he was right, do you agree?
Well, I don't think he was judging people because, I mean, I guess not everyone wants that complete responsibility of taking care of kids. And, I mean, as long as he's really not being criticizing that they just don't want to have kids, then I don't think that's wrong of his opinion. Who has had kids and sees how important that was to him. I don't really think he was judging others who don't have kids.
Yeah, I think that there's, like, other ways that you can have, like, and give love and affection. So I don't think he's necessarily judging people who chose not to have kids with that statement, because there are other ways, but he's just saying that that's probably the most, like, prevalent way to experience that as a human being. So yeah, I don't think he was really judging anybody.
I completely agree.
So yeah.
All right, that's 2 days with Maury. Peace out.
Bye.